It had been 3 months since that unforgettable taxi ride, 3 months since Tessa met the man who changed her career and, without realizing it, changed her heart. Her startup had grown faster than she could have imagined. Partnerships, press features, even a few sleepless nights filled with gratitude. But beneath all that success, there was something missing. Sometimes, between the meetings and headlines, her mind wandered, not to the contracts she signed but to the calm voice that once told her not to let fear drive. She never saw Daniel again after the pitch, though she thought of him often. Sometimes, it felt like she imagined him. One bright Saturday morning, she received an invitation to a wedding. It was one of her early investors tying the knot, a grand event filled with familiar faces and unfamiliar emotions. Tessa wasn't a fan of weddings. They always felt too loud, too perfect, too temporary. Something inside her whispered that she should go. She spent the morning preparing a soft blue dress, minimal jewelry, hair tied in a simple bun. She told herself it was just another social event, yet her heart beat like she was walking into something more. The venue was breathtaking. Golden lights draped across tall palm trees, laughter echoing through marble walls, and the scent of fresh roses mixed with champagne. Tessa found a seat near the aisle, quietly observing the chaos of love around her. The laughter, the dancing, the stolen glances. And for a brief moment, she felt like a stranger in a world built for two. As the ceremony began, she looked around not for anyone in particular, but as if her soul expected something, someone. And then, she saw him. Daniel, standing at the far end of the hall, dressed in a black suit that seemed to carry the sunlight itself. Calm, collected. Exactly as she remembered, yet somehow different. He wasn't looking at her, not yet. He was greeting people, smiling politely. But when his eyes finally found hers across the room, time seemed to slow. The noise of the wedding faded, the music dimmed, and all that remained was the unspoken connection between two people who had once shared a few fleeting minutes in a taxi, and somehow, never truly let go. She wanted to walk up to him, to say something, anything. But her feet felt frozen. It was strange she could pitch her company to a room full of investors without fear, but one look from him and every ounce of confidence melted into something fragile. He smiled at her, a small, knowing smile, the kind that said, "I remember everything." And in that smile, she felt the warmth of the morning traffic, the sound of the taxi engine, the peace that only his presence brought her. They exchanged no words, yet the silence between them spoke louder than anything else. Hours passed. The vows ended. The laughter grew louder, the dance floor filled. Tessa stood near the edge of the crowd, watching couples sway to the rhythm of love. For a moment, she wondered if the universe was trying to remind her of something, that love doesn't wait for permission, it just happens. Daniel moved closer. Not too close, not too fast, just enough to make her aware of every step he took. He stood near her for a while, watching the same dance floor, as if waiting for the right silence to say something that didn't need words. Tessa's heart felt full and empty at the same time. Here he was, the man who saw her at her lowest and believed in her dream, and yet, all they could share now was this quiet nearness. Sometimes, the most powerful moments don't need conversation. Sometimes, just knowing someone is near is enough. She watched the reflection of the lights in his eyes, and wondered if he felt it too, that strange pull, that quiet longing that existed beyond logic. The night grew softer, and for the first time in a long time, Tessa realized she wasn't afraid of what she felt. As the evening drew to an end, she stepped outside for some air. The moonlight brushed against her face, and the cool wind carried the laughter from inside the hall. A few seconds later, she heard footsteps behind her. She didn't turn, she didn't have to. She knew who it was. Daniel stood quietly beside her, both looking out at the stars, both unsure what to say first. And in that silence, something shifted. Not the kind of change you notice all at once, but the kind that stays deep, gentle, and certain. That night, Tessa left the wedding with a heart heavier than she expected, but in the best possible way. Sometimes, love doesn't begin with fireworks or confessions. Sometimes, It starts quietly with two souls finding each other again, in the most unexpected places, and as she looked back one last time before leaving, Daniel was still there watching her go, smiling like he already knew, this was only the beginning. Do you want to know how this love story ends? Then stick around and subscribe because the next episode will take you off your seat.